welcome everyone. This is me, Miriam, and also known as Miriam Data Science Wali. So, student at Sehan School in online academy in Dhaka. So, today we are having a new topic about disasters. So, let's start it without wasting time. Our topic name is how to deal with natural disasters like floods. So, let's start it without wasting time. So, hi Maya.
Hey
Hello Maya.
there. How's the afternoon?
I am good. What about you?
Ah, I'm e- existing, I guess. It's hard to
Yeah,
explain. Not having a body
you
means good and
existed.
bad.
Okay. So Maya, to the topic is how to deal with these natural disasters like floods. So my first question is explain the social, economic, and environmental impacts of floods. How can individuals, communities, and governments work together to reduce the damage caused by floods?
Okay, that's a hefty one. Floods are rough, no joke. Socially, they displace people, disrupt lives, and can really mess with mental health. Trauma sticks around. Economically, you're looking at damaged infrastructure, lost crops, business interruption. It adds up fast. Environmentally, it's about habitat destruction, pollution from runoff, and altering ecosystems. Um, as for working together, individuals can prepare sandbags, evacuation plans, insurance. Communities need early warning systems and quick response teams. Governments got to invest in infrastructure like levees and better drainage, land use planning that avoids building in floodplains, and policies that support recovery. It's a three-legged stool kind of situation. All parts need to be solid. Does that the main points, or did you want me to dive deeper into a specific area? Everything all right? You went quiet there. Just
So my next question is, floods are natural disasters that cannot be fully prevented, but their risk can be minimized. Discuss different methods of flood management, such as early warning system, disaster preparedness, community training, and infrastructure planning. Provide examples in long.
right. Minimizing the damage is the key. Early warning systems are huge, giving people time to get to safety. Disaster preparedness is about having those evacuation routes mapped out, supplies stocked, and knowing what to do. Community trainings like first aid and search and rescue build resilience from the ground up. And infrastructure planning, that's where you get into things like restoring wetlands, building levees, and drainage. For long-term stuff, the Netherlands is a classic example. They've been battling floods for centuries and have some seriously impressive infrastructure. Dams, dikes, storm surge barriers. Bangladesh invests heavily in early warning systems and community-based preparedness programs. And then you have cities like Rotterdam doing sponge city concepts, designing urban spaces to absorb excess water. It's a mix of hard infrastructure and softer nature-based solutions. Does that give you a deeper view? Still with me?
So my next question is, during a flood, immediate rescues and relief operations are very important. What should be the roles of government agencies, NGOs, and local communities in providing reduce, relief, and rehabilitation to affected people?
Okay, you're asking about immediate response and long-term recovery. Gotcha. Government agencies should be coordinating things, search and rescue, providing shelter, distributing supplies. NGOs often fill the gaps, getting aid to those government misses, and providing specialized support like medical care or psychological counseling. Local communities are the first responders, really. They know the area, they know who needs help, and they can offer immediate assistance. For rehab, governments can offer financial aid and help rebuild infrastructure. NGOs can focus on long-term recovery programs like job training and counseling. And communities, they rebuild themselves, but they need support. It's about coordination, avoiding duplication of effort, and making sure that aid gets to the people who actually need it. Does that breakdown make sense? Attract people, did you mean affect, maybe? Just clarifying.
Okay, so my next question is climate change is increasing the frequency and intensity of floods around the world. Discuss the relationship between climate change and flooding and suggest both short term and long term strategies to reduce its impact.
Oh, climate change, the big headache. Basically, warmer temperatures mean more evaporation, leading to more intense rainfall. Rising sea levels worsen coastal flooding. Changes in weather patterns are making extreme events more common. Short term, improving drainage, strengthening flood defenses, and implementing better early warning systems. But those are band-aids. Long term, we gotta tackle the root cause, reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So it's very transition to renewable energy, improve efficiency, protect forests, all that good stuff. Adaptation measures are crucial. Things like restoring wetlands, relocating communities away from floodplains, and building climate resilient infrastructure. It's a massive undertaking, honestly, and requires global cooperation. It's not just about reacting to floods, it's about preventing them from getting worse in the first. It feels overwhelming, I get it, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try.
So my next question is imagine you are the leader of a flood prone district. Write a detailed action plan on how you would prepare the people before the flood, protect them during the flood, and help them recover after the flood.
Okay, all right, let's do this. If I was leading a flood-prone district, here's my plan. First, the preparation phase. Constant education. Regular drills, workshops on evacuation procedures, first aid training. We build a robust early warning system linked to weather forecasts and river level monitoring with alerts sent via text, radio, and community networks. We'd map evacuation routes, establish shelters, and stockpile essential supplies. Crucially, we'd invest in infrastructure, reinforcing existing defenses, restoring wetlands, improving drainage. We'd also offer incentives for residents to elevate homes or relocate. During the flood, clear, calm communication is everything. Activate the emergency response team, deploy resources to assist with evacuations, and set up temporary shelters. Prioritize vulnerable populations, the elderly, disabled, families with young children. Maintain contact with residents, providing updates and reassurance. Post-flood, it's about immediate relief and long-term recovery. Cleanup operations, providing food, water, and medical care. And of damage to homes and infrastructure, followed by financial aid and reconstruction support. Mental health services are key. Floods are traumatic. We'd establish a community recovery fund and work with NGOs to specialize assistance. And critically, we'd analyze what happened, what worked, what didn't, and adjust the plan for the future. It's not just about rebuilding, it's about building back better resiliently. It's a long haul thing, not a
Okay,
one-time fix. Constant
okay.
vigilance and the commitment to protecting the community. Does that sound? What do I think? Honestly, it feels comprehensive, a bit idealistic maybe, but a solid foundation. I think a lot hinges on actually getting the funding and the community buy-in. People need to trust the plan and feel like they're part of it. It's easy to write a plan, and it's a lot harder to actually implement it. But on paper, yeah, it's a good start. Does that answer your question? You're awfully
Okay.
quiet today.
So my next question is education and awareness are key to dealing with natural disasters. How can schools, media, and social organizations spread awareness about floods, preparedness, and safety measures? Give examples.
Okay. You're hitting on the importance of getting the message out. School can integrate disasters into the curriculum, not just science of floods, but also practical skills like first aid and evacuation. Media can run public service announcements, share stories of survivors, and explain risks in a clear and accessible way. Social organizations can community workshops, distribute informational materials, and leverage their networks to reach vulnerable populations. As for pre-bear dams, are you saying poorly built dams? Because that's a really important angle. Focusing on the dangers of infrastructure failures is key. And incorporating safety messages at places like temples, spaces that often serve as community hubs, is smart. Simple things like displaying evacuation maps, posting emergency contact information, and holding safety talks can make a big difference. It's about reaching people where they are, using language they understand, and repeating the message often, and making it personal, showcasing real stories and relatable scenarios. It can't just be dry facts. It needs to be something that resonates with people and motivates them to take action. Does that feel like a good starting point? You're being very contemplative today.
Point. So my next question is floods often leave behind displacement, hunger, and disease. Explain how healthcare, shelter, food security, and physiological support should be managed during and after flood situations.
Okay, this gets into really crucial stuff. Immediately after a flood, healthcare is paramount. Setting up temporary clinics, providing medical supplies, preventing outbreaks of waterborne diseases, that's priority one. Shelter needs to be safe, dry, and accessible. Prioritize vulnerable populations. Food security means getting nutritious food to those who've lost everything and ensuring clean water supplies. Security is often overlooked, but it's vital for preventing looting and maintaining order. And psychological support. That's huge. Floods are deeply traumatic. Providing counseling, creating safe spaces for people to process their emotions, and addressing long-term mental health needs are essential. You need a coordinated approach with clear lines of responsibility. Government agencies, NGOs, and local communities all have a role to play. It's about anticipating needs, being proactive, and ensuring that aid reaches those who need it most. Also, focusing on sanitation is critical to prevent disease spread. It's a messy, complex situation, honestly. It requires a lot of resources and a lot of compassion. You've been thinking a lot today, huh? Is everything okay?
Yeah, everything's okay. So my next question is compare the effectiveness of traditional flood control methods like embankments and dams with modern approaches like smart drain systems and urban planning and digital early warning apps. Which approach do you think is more sensible and why?
Okay, a good question. Comparing old school versus new school. Embankments and dams are traditional and can be effective in certain situations, but they're also expensive, can have negative environmental impacts, and can sometimes create problems downstream. Smart drainage systems, things like structure, permeable pavements, and improved storm management are more sustainable. and can help reduce runoff and mitigate flooding. Urban planning is also crucial. Avoiding building in floodplains, creating green spaces, and implementing building codes that require flood-resistant construction can make a difference. Digital early warning apps, they're game changers. They can provide real-time information to people, giving them time to prepare and evacuate. Honestly, I think a combination of modern approaches is the most sensible. Relying solely on dams and embankments is short-sighted and can create new problems. A holistic strategy that incorporates smart drainage, sustainable urban planning, and early warning systems is more effective, more resilient, and more environmentally friendly. It's about working with nature, not against it. Plus, those apps, they empower individuals to take control and protect themselves. It's a win-win, really. Your thoughts? Do you lean towards one approach more than another?
Okay. So my next question is, flood disasters often hit the poor and vulnerable the hardest. Discuss how social inequality and poverty increase the risk of flood damage. What policies should governments adopt to protect marginalized groups?
You're right to bring that up. Floods don't hit everyone equally. Poverty and social inequality massively increase vulnerability. Low-income communities often live in one areas, the cheap land, the poorly maintained infrastructure. They have fewer resources to prepare, evacuate, or recover. They may lack insurance, access to transportation, or even information about impending floods. Marginalized groups, racial and ethnic minorities, people with disabilities, the elderly, face additional barriers. Policies governments should adopt affordable housing in safe areas, investment in infrastructure in vulnerable communities, accessible early warning systems, and targeted financial assistance for recovery. Social safety nets, things like unemployment benefits and food assistance, are crucial. Addressing systemic inequalities is key. It's not about reacting to floods. It's about dismantling the structures that make certain communities more vulnerable in the first place and giving those communities a voice in the decision-making process. It's about equity, really, ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to protect themselves and rebuild their lives. It's a moral imperative, honestly. You're really letting your thoughts simmer today, aren't you? Taking it all in. That's good. Something need that space.
Okay, so my next question is, many people refuse to leave their homes even when evacuation warnings are given. Why does this happen, and how can authorities improve trust and communication during floods?
That's a really tough one. People refusing to evacuate, it's complicated. Often it's attachment to their homes or belongings, their pets, their lead. Sometimes it's mistrust of authorities or a belief that the warnings are exaggerated. Sometimes it's denial. They don't want to believe a flood is actually coming. And sometimes it's simply lack of resources. They don't have a place to go or the means there. To improve trust and communication, authorities need to be transparent, consistent, and empathetic. Clearly explain the risks, provide specific instructions, and address people's concerns. Use multiple channels of communication, not just official announcements, but also social media, local radio, and community leaders. Build relationships with communities beforehand so people know who to turn to. And make evacuation plans accessible to everyone, including those with disabilities and language barriers. Focus on clear, concise messaging, avoid and emphasize that evacuation orders are about saving lives and just protecting property. It's about building trust and showing people that authorities genuinely care about their well-being. Does that make sense? You're very thoughtful listener.
Okay, so my
Very
next
listening.
question
Okay.
is, After a flood, rebuilding is not only about repairing houses, but also about restoring dignity and hope. Discuss the physiological, cultural, and social challenges faced by survivors and how rehabilitation programs can address them.
All right, you're hitting on a really important point. Rebuilding isn't just about bricks and mortar, it's about people. The psychological toll of a flood is massive trauma, grief, anxiety, depression. People lose sense of safety and security. Culturally, floods can distort landmarks, traditions, and ways of life socially, disrupt communities, and erode social networks. Rehab programs need to address all of those things. Mental health services are crucial, counseling support groups, trauma therapy, cultural preservation efforts, restoring heritage sites, supporting local artists and craftspeople, community building initiatives, creating spaces for people to reconnect, share their stories, and rebuild their social fabric. It's about empowering survivors to take control of their own recovery rather than simply being passive recipients of aid and cultural values and beliefs. It's about restoring not just homes, but also a belonging, purpose, and hope. It's about remembering that people are not just victims, they are resilient and capable of rebuilding their lives. Does that resonate? Still processing, I see. You're really taking your time with questions, and that's
Okay, so my
okay.
next
Just let me
question
know when you're ready.
is technological innovation plays a vital role in disaster management. How can drone, satellite mapping, and mobile apps help in forecasting, reuse operations, and relief distributions during floods?
All right, let's talk tech. Drones are incredible for rapid damage assessment after a flood. They can access areas that are too dangerous for humans, providing real time imagery and data. Satellite mapping gives you a broader overview, helping to track the extent of flooding and identify areas at risk. And mobile apps, well, those are key for communication and coordination. They can be used to send out early warnings, collect data from citizens, track emergency resources, and facilitate aid distribution. Some apps even allow people to report damage or request assistance. It's about leveraging technology to improve situational awareness, speed up response times, and get aid to those who need it most.
So, my next question is discuss the role of international organizations such as the United Nations, Red Cross, and World Bank in helping flood affected countries. Should disaster relief be seen as charity or as global responsibility?
Okay, international organizations are essential for large-scale disaster response. The UN coordinates international aid efforts, provides funding, and mobilizes resources. The Red Cross is on the ground, providing immediate relief, shelter, food, medical care. The World Bank offers financial assistance for reconstruction and long-term development. These organizations bring expertise, resources, and a neutral presence to help countries cope with the aftermath of a flood. They also advocate for policies, reduce disaster risk, and build resilience. It's not just about providing aid after disaster, it's about working with countries to prepare for future events. They offer technical assistance, training, and capacity building. A lot of it is about coordinating the global response and ensuring that aid is delivered efficiently and effectively. It's a complex but they play a vital role in helping affected countries get back on their feet. Does that outline their main functions fairly well? I'm starting to wonder if you're just enjoying the silence. Is that it?
About that. Okay, so let's wind up. So viewers, that's our interview. I hope you will like this interview and our conversation so we can meet and other interview with any other guest. So goodbye and take care everyone.